Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. And by bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry titan on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Ms Sapna Chandiramani. As the CEO and co-founder of PropertyAngel Management Private Limited, she has propelled the company to remarkable heights since its inception in 2014, exemplifying her leadership, entrepreneurial excellence, and innovative edge. With a massive rupees 1,500 crores of assets under management and a global customer presence spanning the US, Europe, Middle East, and South Asia, she has steered PropertyAngel to become an award-winning O2O second landlord platform. The company boasts a flawless track record of on-time rent distribution, earning accolades such as the Tech Star Award from Zoho and grants from Facebook. Her commitment to making real estate affairs safe, simple, and efficient has positioned PropertyAngel as one of the top 10 property management companies in India. Yeah. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Ms. Sapna.
Thanks, Sunny. Thank you for having me here.
Yes. So to begin with, could you share in brief with us your journey from your early career to becoming the CEO and co-founder of PropertyAngel Management Private Limited?
Yes, happy to do that, Sunny. So basically, my career started with Oracle as an intern. So this was in the US. I had done my undergrad in the US in economics and computer science. And I started interning with Oracle in Boston. I worked with them for a couple of years, and then I wanted to move back to India. So I took a transfer to their Bangalore office. And very interesting times then, because once I moved back here, I realized that we were working on a lot more cutting edge technologies and very interesting things in the Bangalore office compared to the Boston office. So I spent about 3 years here in the server technologies team, and then I moved to Yahoo. And that was again a very transformative career change because a lot was happening in the internet space at that point in time. And one of the first products we launched at Yahoo was Yahoo 360. So this was a social network. This was pre-Facebook days. And then we went on to build out many global products and platforms. Ratings and reviews was one, Yahoo Avatars was one. And then I moved into the Yahoo search team, where we did some work on, in the entire information retrieval space, solved some very interesting problems in the multimedia space, multimedia search space, filed some patents, and at that point, I felt that my career, my growth had plateaued a little bit, and I wanted to do something different. Decided to start up a company. Didn't know really what I was getting into. I did a startup. It was called BizHopNaw, and this was leveraging the social graph of small businesses to generate business for them. Tried many things for a couple of years. It didn't go anywhere. Had to shut it down. And that's where PropertyAngel happened.
Ms. Sapna, thank you for the excellent start to this interview. And I must say, your career journey is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
So continuing our conversation, our viewers would like to know, you have worked in the IT field for a considerable period of your professional life. So what inspired your venture into the real estate industry, and how your background in technology has influenced your approach to property management?
Yeah, so like I said, I was at a point where BizHopNow didn't really go anywhere. I was trying to figure out what to do next. And, so as an entrepreneur, you're always looking at solving problems, right? And real estate, of course, has plethora of problems. Everywhere you see, there's a problem. And the question was like, hey, what problem even within that space do we want to solve? property management was one such area that came up. And it was not a solved problem, of course, but also having lived in the US, I understood that when you're as a tenant, you don't deal with the landlord directly at all. I mean, you're pretty much dealing with a company. And that whole ecosystem was very nascent here. There weren't too many companies in that space. And also, it's actually started out with doing a software solution for the property management industry. And then, but we realized that the problems in the space were not only technology. I mean, there were a lot of problems. The systems had to be created, the legal framework had to be set up, the business model had to be it had to be developed. So then we said, okay, fine, let's look at the operational aspects as well. And that is how the whole operations and technology aspects came together. And so today it's a prop tech sort of solution where we do the tech aspects of it as well as the operational aspects. But that's how it happened.
Incredible. So let me ask you a straight question. What is your success mantra?
So I don't know what success mantra, but there are a few principles that I like to live by. And so one of them is that I'm a planner. I have everything sort of planned out. I have my day planned out. I have my week planned out. I have my month planned out. I mean, I could plan my life out, right? Not everything goes according to plan always, but I like to have, I like to have a sense of the direction that I'm heading in. So that is one. The second is that I have this, the belief in the human potential, right? So I believe that all of us have a lot more potential than we give ourselves credit for. When I'm working with people and working with people in my team, I like to give them more than they think they can chew. Because if we work on more than what we believe our mind can do, we tend to push up mental blocks and barriers. And so when I see that happen, it helps me work on my mental barriers as well. So I like to see that. I like to see, people sort of expand their mental blocks and mental capacity. And the third principle that I like to live by is of doing the right thing. I'm very transparent as a person. To me, a good night's sleep is more important than fame and fortune. I believe in a strong ethical foundation. I can have difficult conversations, make hard decisions. I'm able to sacrifice the short term for the long term. So, those are the few principles that I live by that have helped me get to where I am today.
All right. So now that we have discussed your career journey, your roles and responsibilities, and your success mantra, let's dive into the subject of ESG and corporate governance. So here is my question to you, and a very obvious one. How and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
So I actually, I'm an engineer at heart, right? I love building things. And I think one of the most beautiful things that you can build is a company, because if you can build a company right, you never know what the company can go out and build. So being able to influence culture, being able to influence company building is something that I'm very passionate about. I spoke about, having worked at Oracle and having worked at Yahoo, and between those two companies, and in the US and India, and the difference between those companies could not have been more. And so, today I see that I still bleed purple for Yahoo, right? A lot of the culture at PropertyAngel has been inherited from Yahoo. And so if you can build companies right, then, magic can happen. So I think that so I have a passion for that. The second aspect of it is that I feel that ethics in Indian companies generally is underrated. Very often we tend to turn a blind eye to things, tend to turn a blind eye to fraudulent practices, that it's okay, it happens everywhere. And I don't think that that's how it should be or need be. And so being in a position to be able to influence that is also interesting to me. And third is that today there's a lot of consumer wealth moving into the capital markets, right? I mean, some friends and families investing their hard-earned money there. And I think that it's important to be able to protect that, right? To be able to, it is important that these listed entities are well run and that wealth of consumers is protected. And to be able to be in a position to influence that and do my own bit is something that I find interesting.
Amazing. So, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
So, like I said, one of the things I said earlier was, my belief in just doing the right thing. I'm very transparent as a person, so that is one of the values I believe I bring to the table. The second is in terms of communication. So I don't shy away from difficult conversations. I believe I can have them gracefully. I'm a fairly logical, rational sort of a person. And having worked in various different situations, conflict management is also something that I'm able to do fairly well, right? Having worked with different types of people, I'm able to sort of understand different motivations and concerns, look at a negotiation from a win-win perspective. And, having run your own business, the concept of risk management sort of comes inherently, right? I mean, there are trade-offs that you have to make. Also, having run my own business in terms of, you get a very holistic view of things. I mean, you can't just hire an auditor and say, hey, I don't understand the accounting, or you can't hire a lawyer and say, hey, I don't know, figure it out, right? You have to understand marketing, you have to understand law, the legal frameworks, you have to understand the accounting aspects of it. And so this holistic view of things is another aspect that gives you a much broader picture. And that's another aspect that I believe I bring to the table.
Rightly said. So, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? That is part A. And part B is, what prospects do you foresee with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, Web 3.0, etc. for your firm?
So one of the aspects that doesn't get spoken about as much today is low-code technologies. A lot of people talk about AI, but there are a lot of low-code platforms that are getting built out that make it very easier and faster and cheaper to build out new technology solutions. So that's a very interesting aspect. In terms of while it's much easier to build out new solutions, I think adoption of these solutions in small Indian businesses is a problem. And if you're not able to fill that gap, then the divide between the rich and the poor will only grow. So we need these small businesses to be able to get out of the rut of self-employment. They need to be able to deploy these technologies and employ other people, right? Be able to automate their businesses. You asked me about blockchain. So blockchain, in fact, there is this company that PropertyAngel has invested in. It's a US-based startup. They are working on blockchain for real estate, and we are yet to see how we can bring them to India. In terms of IoT and AI, of course, there is a lot of scope for integration and innovation in real estate. PropertyAngel itself, we are working on a few solutions, and hopefully we'll be able to make some announcements later in the year.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing such insights into different subjects and your career journey. So this brings us to the last question of the session. And here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole team of World Development Corporation?
Well, it's a great initiative. I'm very happy to be a part of it. So when I first became a student of the Independent Directors program, the first thought that came to my mind is that, hey, I've been a director at a private limited company for 10 years. How come I didn't know any of this, right? So when you buy a car, you don't just buy a car and start driving, right? I mean, you need a license to drive. I mean, people do, but you basically need a license to drive. So why don't you need a license to operate a business as well? And so I think this awareness, and I think that is also one of the reasons for a lot of corporate governance failures, is this lack of awareness as well. It's one of the reasons a lot of startups today don't know exactly what they are doing in some ways, right? And I think awareness helps a lot. It's something that can be done. And of course, it doesn't have to be so complex. You don't need to run a small enterprise. You don't need to know what it takes to be on the board of a listed company. But it can be a much simpler sort of a license or certification. So, but all in all, I think they're doing a wonderful job. I think this cross-pollination of ideas and building the community is very important. And, I wish the WDC team all the very best.
Great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Ms. Sapna, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Very much, Sunny. Thank you so much. It was wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you. Likewise, have a nice day.
You too.